All right, thanks guys, and welcome to our NBA free pick video here today for Thursday, January 13th, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these games that I'm actually betting on personally, you may want to think about signing up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com, where we have packages beginning at just $1.99. And if you're getting ready to bet big on the NFL wildcard weekend here in a couple of days, and if you want to see who I'm betting on that as well, you may want to think about signing up for my NFL tier package picks on that brockpage.com website as well, where I'm currently hitting at 60% in my last 15 NFL tier package picks on that site. And the link for those NFL premium picks is located in the description section below. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free picks here in the NBA. We're going to start with Golden State taking on Milwaukee, and that's going to be a 7:30 Eastern start time. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks are -2 with the total at 223.5. Now, the Bucks are 13-7 straight up at home this year, and they've done a really nice job rebounding the basketball offensively. Having said all that, though, these guys are currently on a 2-game losing streak, and they also lost 4 out of their last 5. Now, when it comes to covering the point spread, Milwaukee went just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 ball games as well, and they're covering in only 35% of their home games this year. Milwaukee's struggled to shoot the basketball a bit at the Fiserv Forum. They currently find themselves in the bottom 10 in the NBA in offensive field goal percentage at home. And as good as they've been rebounding offensively, well, a little bit different story on the other end of the court. They're actually in the bottom 10 in defensive rebounding at home. Now, injury-wise, Hill and Holiday, they are doubtful to play here tonight. Now, Milwaukee's taking on a Golden State team who's 20 games above 500 already, and they also allow fewer points per contest than any other team in basketball. The Warriors are limiting their competition to just 101 points a night, and they're currently first in the entire NBA in defensive field goal percentage. Meanwhile, offensively, when it comes to scoring in this one, Steph Curry is averaging over 26.5 points a night, along with 5 boards and 6 assists. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins is draining over 42% of his balls this year himself, 18 points a game for Wiggins. The Warriors are currently in the top 10 in shooting the 3 ball as a team, and they also find themselves in the top 5 in offensive rebounding. Now, when it comes to the injury report, Green is still out, Kuminga is questionable. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee on the other side of things, once again, Hill and Holiday are doubtful. Allen's also listed as questionable. When it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee saw their last 3 straight outings all fall under the total. And those were unders against the likes of Charlotte and Brooklyn during that stretch. And when the Bucks play at home, they're 60% to the under at the Fiserv Forum. Meanwhile, the Warriors on the other side of things, they went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings themselves. Golden State also finds themselves 12-7 to the under away from their home court. I'm going to lean toward Golden State +2 and the under 223.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Minnesota versus Memphis, and that's going to be an 8 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Memphis Grizzlies are -5 with the total at 230.5. Now, the red-hot Grizzlies have won 10 straight ball games. They also went 9-1 against the spread during that stretch. The Grizzlies are 15-8 straight up at the FedEx Forum, and they're led by Ja Morant, who's scoring nearly 25 points a game, along with 5 rebounds and 6 assists. And when it comes to shooting the 3 ball, Desmond Bane is draining 43% of his 3-pointers. He's also averaging 17.5 points a game. And speaking of scoring, the Grizzlies are in the top 3 in the NBA in offensive points per game. They're also leading the NBA in rebounding the basketball offensively as well. They're taking on a Minnesota club who has a losing record on the road this season. And they also tend to give up their fair share of points on the road. The T-Wolves are allowing 115 points a game when traveling this year, and they're also in the bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage on the road. Now, when it comes to the injury report, Bolmaro is out, Noel is doubtful. Meanwhile, for Memphis on the other side, Ponce is out, Adams is questionable for them. When it comes to the number in this one, 4 out of Memphis' last 5 got over the posted total. And those were overs against the likes of Golden State, the Lakers, and Cleveland during that span. Memphis is also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Timberwolves. Meanwhile, Minnesota on the other side of things, they've gone 15-5 to the over on the road this year. That's good for 75% in that particular category. I'm going to lean toward Memphis -5 and the over 230.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Clippers versus the Pelicans, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. The New Orleans Pelicans are -3 with a total at 214.5. Now, the Pels won 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they successfully covered the point spread in all 3 of those contests. Having said all that, though, New Orleans still finds themselves 11 games below 500 for the entire season. They also have a losing record at home. Now, the Pels have had problems on both ends of the court, but it's really been their defensive play that's hurt them this year. New Orleans is currently in the bottom 3 in the NBA in both offensive field goal percentage. They're in the bottom 3 in the NBA in defensive field goal percentage, and they're in the bottom 3 in defending the 3 ball as well. Now, they're taking on a Clipper team who's on a 2-game winning streak themselves. They also held their opponents to 93 points or less in both of those outings. And as a matter of fact, the Clippers are in the top 3 in the league in guarding the 3 ball, and they're limiting their competition to just 105 points a game. So although these guys don't score a whole lot of points, they really don't need to. This is a very tough, defensive-minded team. Now, when it does come to the scoring in this one, Reggie Jackson's averaging over 16.5 points a night, along with 3 boards and 3 assists. Meanwhile, Marcus Morris is scoring over 16 points a game himself, along with 5 boards and a couple assists as well. Now, the Clippers currently find themselves in the top 5 in the association in shooting the 3 ball on the road. So like I said earlier, although they're defensive-minded, there are a couple bright spots offensively as well. They're not completely anemic on the offensive end of the court. Now, injury-wise, Winslow, Kennard, and Preston are out. George and Hartenstein, they are still out indefinitely as well. Meanwhile, for the Pelicans, Satoransky and Silva are questionable to play in tonight's ball game as well. When it comes to the total in this one, the Pelicans went 6-3 to the over in their last 9 ball games. Overs against the likes of Minnesota, Phoenix, and Milwaukee during that span. The Pels also went 60% to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Clippers. Meanwhile, Los Angeles saw 4 out of their last 7 get over the posted total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Clippers +3, the over 214.5. Next matchup, it is going to be OKC versus Brooklyn. And that's going to be an 8:30 Eastern start time. The Brooklyn Nets are -7.5 with the total at 216. Now, the Nets are shooting the ball very well from mid-range. They're currently in the top 5 in the league in offensive field goal percentage. Kevin Durant's averaging over 29.5 points a game, and he's making 52% of his field goal attempts. Meanwhile, James Harden is scoring 22.5 points a night himself, along with 8 boards and 9 assists. The Nets are currently in the top 10 in scoring, and they've also done a real nice job of rebounding offensively. They're currently in the top 5 in the NBA in offensive boards at home. They're taking on a Thunder team who's on a 5-game losing streak, and they're winning just 26% of their road games. Now, OKC scores fewer points per contest than any other team in basketball. They're also making just 28% of their shots from 3 land when they travel. And when it comes to the injury report, Roby and Williams are both still out for OKC. Meanwhile, for Brooklyn, Harris and Aldridge are still out. Kyrie's ineligible, and Claxton is questionable. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Brooklyn went 60% to the over in their last 10 ball games. 7-3 to the over in their last 10 meetings with the Thunder, if you're into historical trends. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City saw a contest recently with Washington, Minnesota, and Sacramento get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward Brooklyn minus 7.5 in the over 216. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Blazers versus the Nuggets, and that's going to be a 10 o'clock Eastern start time. Denver is minus 10 with the total at 213.5. Now, the Nuggets got the W in 5 out of their last 8, and they're currently holding their opponents to just 103 points a night at the Ball Arena. As a matter of fact, Denver ranks in the top 10 in guarding the 3 ball, and they're also amongst the conference leaders in offensive rebounding in the West. So we're looking at a team, a lot of good stuff happening. This is a team that is really charged by their defensive efforts. But when it comes to rebounding in this one, Nikola Jokic, he's averaging over 14 rebounds a game. He's also scoring 25 points a night for the Joker. Meanwhile, Will Barton scoring over 15 points a game himself, along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. And although the Nuggets haven't particularly been an offensive powerhouse, they are doing a nice job of shooting the basketball as a team. They're currently in the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage. Now, they're taking on a Portland team who lost 6 out of their last 9 themselves, and they successfully covered the point spread in only 3 of those contests. And even when Portland was mostly healthy, these guys are the absolute clear-cut worst road team in professional basketball. They're just 2-13 straight up away from home this year, and that's good for only 13% in that particular category. Now, the Blazers also play some of the worst defense in the NBA as well. They're dead last in guarding the 3 ball on the road, and they're also letting their competition make 50% of their field goals against them when they travel. And, of course, that's a league worst in that category as well. Now, when it comes to the injury list, Lillard and McCollum, they are both still going to be out for a while. Who knows if even those guys are going to return. I know Lillard, they're expecting, 6 to 8 weeks, but at this point in the season, why even come back? Meanwhile, Nance, Powell, and Simons, they are out for today's action as well for Portland. Zeller is doubtful. Meanwhile, for Denver, on the other side of things, Howard's questionable to play tonight with a knee. When it comes to the total in this one, Denver went 4-1 to the under in their last 5 outings, 80% to the under in their last 10. Meanwhile, Portland saw their last 3 straight fall under the total themselves, and those were unders against the likes of Brooklyn, Sacramento, and Cleveland. I'm going to lean toward Denver minus 10. And the under 213.5. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com. We are currently hitting at 60% in our last 15 NFL tier package picks. I like Golden State plus 2, under 223.5. Give me Memphis minus 5, over 230 and a hook. LA Clippers plus 3, over 214.5. Brooklyn Nets minus 7.5, over 216. With my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward Denver minus 10 and the under 213.5. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up, and then the first of every month after that if you continue to opt in. Now, you can opt out at any time on that safe and secure website. But if you do end up getting a package here today, you're going to get access to those picks all the way through the end of January. And just another reminder, if you want to access every single pick that I give out on that website, you may want to think about signing up for my board member tier, where board members get access to every single pick that I give out on that website all the way through the end of January as well. If you sign up for a package today, a board member package, the math is going to work out to be just $2.63 a day. And I'll tell you this much, at an average of 5 premium picks a day on that site, you're looking at just around 53 cents a pick if you sign up for a board member package today. So certainly good value there. Although, once again, guys, the slump continues on the website. last couple of days. We only won 2 picks. We won, 2 picks on Tuesday, 2 picks on Wednesday. We're trying to get those numbers up. I mean, those are rookie numbers. Got to get those numbers up. I'm optimistic about the plays today. I think we're going to turn this thing around. I appreciate you guys for just bearing with me. And, as you guys know, in the past, when we've hit the valleys, when we've, been down in the dumps, we've always come back real strong. So appreciate you guys sticking with me. And overall, it is what it is. I think we're going to get back on track here today. But anyway, guys, most importantly, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.